Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing well. I'm going to go over this e-bike DIY kit that I put on this mountain bike. So as you know, as you followed me, obviously I got a 2500 ProMaster. I do art shows, travel all over the United States doing these shows. And if you look at my previous videos, you can see my van build and this rack that I built for the front of the vehicle for my bicycle. And my DR back there, I would carry on the back. And some of my previous videos, you can see that. However, I wanted something a little more efficient. I've looked at a lot of blogs. I've looked at a lot of videos about these e-bikes for about a year, and I've decided to finally pull the trigger on one and get one of these kits and convert an e-bike. So as you know, in my travels, this is my old mountain bike that I use that I mounted at the front of the vehicle, a ProMaster here. And this is a 25-year-old mountain bike. Served me well. I've ridden it thousands of miles, enough to have to replace the bearings on the bottom bracket. It is a great bike, but it doesn't even close to compare to these e-bikes that they have now and these new mountain bikes. So I decided I wanted to buy a brand new mountain bike, and because I wanted the bigger tires. I go in the Sierra Nevada mountains, a lot of rough terrain, and I took this out the other day, and I'm very, very impressed with it. So I got this kit. It was about $1,200. I really liked the kit, what it comes with. So just real quick, what the kit comes with. It comes with this headlight right here, which is nice. Mounts right back here. I think it's a 4mm, which is pretty standard, and comes with this rear battery rack with the battery holder. And I'm going to go over some of the problems I had with this. Didn't think I was going to like this because I thought it was going to raise the center of the gravity of the bike. And on my test run, like I said, I'm very, very impressed with this, and I'm not much for hyperbole or exaggerating. It's a 1,000-watt bafang mid-drive. And real quick, being able to mount this real quick, pull out the bottom bearing bracket. It fit perfectly. It was, I think, a 68mm. So I'm going to go over the problems with the motor that I had. So the geometry of the bike, the problem is with this particular bafang, they say it fits 73mm, 64 between 73. Every bike has a little different geometry. So the problem I had mounting the motor, and it wasn't a really big problem, but I'm going to try to show you the shaft. It fit through here really well, through this bottom bearing bracket, the shaft of the motor. However, because I'm going to try to show you the geometry back here, where this is, it was hitting this back plate of the motor. So what I had to do is I had to actually put shims right here. So if you look right here, the cover of the motor, this particular, was hitting this right here. And so I had to come down here, and you can see there's 4 shims right there, right in the middle, I believe you can see it. So I just went down to the local hardware store, got 4 of these shims, and it has to be, I think it's about 1 3/4 inch diameter shim. So I put down here to pull this housing of this motor back away from this chain rail or guard, whatever it's called. So that was the one issue, not really a big issue, that I had. Every bike, the geometry is going to be a little different, but obviously you don't want the housing of the motor contacting it. And when you tighten the bolt, this bolt, which the kit came with the wrench for tightening this bolt, you don't want it hitting the frame. You want it hitting where it's supposed to be on this through section of the motor. So that was the one issue I had with the motor. Not a big issue, able to resolve it fairly quickly. Directions don't come with these generally, but there's enough YouTube videos that you can figure it out fairly easily. Okay, the other issue I had, I'm going to stay down here so I'm not jumping around with the phone. The other issue was with the speed sensor right here. This is the magnet right here, as you see. I'll spin it around here. That's the magnet right there. The problem is the geometry of the spokes and the sensor. No matter where I put this, I couldn't get this sensor, this magnetic field, close enough to this sensor right here, where it has to come across, it has to make or close contact, or the magnetic field has to have contact with the sensor in order to see what your speed is. So this is the closest I could get it. So what I did to fix this problem, because it wasn't registering, is that I put another magnet right on top of it. Just went down a local hardware store. They sell these little magnets, popped that magnet on, and it brought the magnetic field close enough to register with the sensor, and it worked. So, and I've already did, like I said, a very rough ride through some very rough terrain. Didn't come off, had no problems at all. So that's how I resolved that problem. Okay, the biggest problem that I had with this kit, and when I got it, I didn't think I was going to like it, is this rack right here. I thought I was going to be able, traditionally, obviously the batteries mount somewhere on this inside the triangle here, either on the bottom or right here. That's what I thought I could do with the battery, but the battery on this particular kit is way too wide, and I'm going to show you the battery right now. That's the battery right there, way too wide to be able to mount it in the center of the triangle. So I didn't think I was going to like it. I thought the center of gravity of the bike was going to be too high. However, in my ride, and I went up some pretty steep hills where I had to actually stop because I'm trying to get used to the thumb control throttle with the pedal assist, and I actually had to turn around on one hill. But when I stopped, and I thought the bike was going to be a little awkward, but not at all. No problem at all. Now, the first problem with this rack that I had, and I actually had to fabricate a mounting system. It came with some aluminum arms like this, and these aluminum arms are supposed to screw in right here, and on most mountain bikes there is a screw right here. I can show you, even on this 20-year-old bike, they have these screws on the side here, on each side of that little V, but this bike doesn't. And these arms were aluminum, and they have these twisted little mounts where they're supposed to screw into here, and that's how this rack is mounted. That didn't work. Obviously I don't have screws, so I had to go. I did try to bend the aluminum, but it broke. The arms broke, so I didn't think it was going to work anyway. So I got some steel, 5/16, and made them, and I got this aftermarket seat clamp, which has the screws in the back, and bent these, and we're able to mount them into the bottom here, where you can see they have these post clamps that bolt onto the bracket here or screw on, and that's how I modified it. And this, even though I thought I was going to have to weld them to this 5/8 into here, so I welded this other little bracket on. Just gave it a little more support for the rear seat battery mount. Now, the major problem I had with this kit, two issues. Number one, when I got this installed and it mounts down here on each side, these worked. The geometry is symmetrical on both sides of the bike, 4mm screws. So the major problem I had with this, I got it all mounted, thinking, okay, quick progress. This actually took me longer this back rack took me longer to modify than the motor and everything else on the bike. So here's the problem. The battery, this is the slide for the battery. It's plastic. And the battery that I just showed you pictures of, and I'm not going to show, but the bottom of it has these ridges. Now, I think what it was designed originally, you mount this and there's a little lip here, and this lip grabs the underneath of the battery, and it slides kind of like a glove. like this, a section, right? So let's say my hand is the battery. However, when I put the battery in, I was trying to put it in, it wouldn't slide. And I couldn't figure it out. Once I figured it out, they got these little ridges on the bottom of the battery that extend further than this gap right here. They go further than this, a little more than an eighth. So it was hitting this back rail and wasn't allowing the battery to slide. That was the first problem I came across. And the issue I had, well, what do I do? Do I either grind off the ridges of the battery, which I didn't want to do, maybe voiding the warranty in case I had a problem with the battery, or do I raise this rack up? And that's what I did to solve that problem. So if you can see, what I did is there's a piece of aluminum under here, 1.5 inches wide, 1/8 inch thick. And I put that underneath here, took the screws, had to get longer screws, so the screws that came with it wouldn't work, to go through here, through the 1/8 inch, and then I bolted them to the bottom, like you see here. Then it gave enough room to where I could put the battery in and slide it. Even though once I did that, what happened is the battery would get halfway and it wouldn't slide anymore, and I couldn't figure out what the problem was. I put a straight edge across here and realized this center bracket was actually bowed like this. It was bowed, kind of, like this. So the battery was dipping and then binding as it came back up on this rail. So I had to take this off again, put it in a vise, and I actually bent this rail back. It was about 1/4 inch down. And I bent it up a little over an eighth. Now when I put the battery in, it's nice and tight and it slides. And this is the docking station right here for the battery. And on the other side, there's a key that locks the battery. So that was the problem, and that was my solution with this rack. And like I said, I was kind of worried about the high center of gravity. Didn't bother me a bit. The only other problem that, which up to this point hasn't been a problem, is that the battery, because it's mounted in the back, but it actually fits pretty tight in here. I was kind of worried over time as the battery vibrates, it might come loose from the contacts, which are right in here, about where my finger, I don't know if you can see them or not. So, but I take a bungee, I kind of wrap it around the back of the battery to give it a little more stability. But no problem up to this point. Of course, I've only done a couple of rides on it. Okay, so that was the problem with the kit. Fairly easily solved the solution. Emailed the company. They were fairly responsive. I just told them, hey, these are the problems that I'm having. This is how I fixed it. Another problem I had was with the charger of the battery. Plugged it in. The charger has 2 indicator lights, a red and a green. It kept flashing back, red, green, red, green. It seemed like it was charging at first, and then it's not charging at all anymore. So I'll see if the company gets back to me on solving the charger problem with the battery. Okay, just to go over real quick what I put on this bike, and like I said, I really like the bike. It's a Salsa. It's not the highest end. It's a hardtail bike, but I like it, and it's a pretty good mountain bike for what I need it for. And of course, I'm probably not even going to be riding my DR, which I think I did a pictures back there. I'm probably going to. I really like this bike. So real quick to go over, I told you about the light. I put the controls on the right side, they're upside down on the right side, but it doesn't really matter once you get used to it. I customized the grips, put these palm grips on it, which I really like. The phone holder I really like. It's metal. It's very heavy duty. Has a really nice clamp that goes around the handlebars. I really like it. Another nice thing about this bike, there's a lot of real estate where you can install stuff on this. What I really like about I upgraded this. This is a DPC-18, I believe. It's a color display. Has a USB port on the bottom. If you're going to get one of these mountain bikes, definitely get a rear view mirror. And I really like this bell. Check out the sound. Pretty cool, like a tuning fork sound. I really like that. The throttle grip, I move forward. That's kind of what I like. Is you rest your hand, you just push it with your thumb. So that's the bike in a nutshell. I really impressed with these bikes. I've looked at blogs, I've looked at YouTube over a year, and I finally decided to get one. I'm glad I did. Uh, uh, so all I can suggest is, do your research on that, and modified the rack a little bit for this bike. I really like how I did this. I have some straps here, put some other straps just for security to keep the bike from vibrating or anything like that. The bike, all in all, the weight of the bike is not bad. I think the stock weight of the bike is around 30, 35 pounds. The kit weighs about 15 pounds. So that's put me about 40, let's say 50 pounds. And then I got a bunch of locks, a U-lock for the bike. Obviously, if you're going to spend the money for this, this whole kit and the bike was $1,100. The kit was about $1,300, shipping maybe another $100. So I don't know. All I can say is I really like it. And I'm getting ready for an art show. Here, I'll show you some of my 6-leaf lilies. This is called my burnt lily here. Really like these. And these are my other ones, and some of my red roses there. Just show you a little bit of my artwork. Getting ready for an art show in Glenwood, Colorado at the end of the month. So that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this helps. You got any questions, you can email me. Stay healthy and well. Bye-bye.